Hi everyone. As we continue to talk about family formation, today we want to talk about prayer and just how essential prayer should be in your life and in the life of your family. There's a very interesting passage of scripture we read in Mark 1:35. We know that Jesus is doing ministry in Galilee. He's teaching, he's preaching, he's healing the sick, and he was probably exhausted. Jesus was fully human, and so he got tired also. But we read in Mark chapter 1, verse 35, we read this about Jesus. In the morning, while it was still very dark, he got up and went out to a deserted place, and there he prayed. So you get this understanding that Jesus put prayer at the central part of his life. Like it was the first thing he did in the morning. It was important for him to have communion with the Father just to get his day started right. There's another interesting part of Scripture I think is interesting. In Matthew chapters 5 through 7, that's his Sermon on the Mount, in which he does a lot of teaching and preaching. He's discipling his disciples. And at the very center of the Sermon on the Mount, in Matthew chapter 6, Jesus teaches his disciples how to pray. So you get to understanding that prayer was at the center of everything that Jesus did. And so I believe that prayer should be at the center of our family formation. We should be developing our families into being prayer warriors. Martin Luther once said this. He said, and I'll put this in my own words, he said something like, "Hey, I've got so much to do. There's so much business at hand that I can't do anything unless I spend 3 hours of prayer daily." Like, he was a busy guy. We get that. He was a busy guy, but he couldn't do anything unless he spent 3 hours in prayer. And we know that Martin Luther was a family man. So you know what? As busy as we are, we still need to take time to center, to get in touch with God. And we need to teach our families the same thing. So in our home, it's my responsibility every evening to put our kids to bed. And it's not just a responsibility, it's actually something I ask to do. I love to do it. I'm not going to tell you it's always easy, but I love putting my kids to bed, because here's what we do. We spend a little time, I spend individual time with both of my kids. We take some time reading scripture, and then I sit down and just say something like, "Well, tell me about your day." And we begin to talk about our day, and I share my day with them. And then I get to ask them this question: "Hey, what is it that maybe you're struggling with? Or what is it that you'd like for your dad to help you pray about this week?" And so I hear things about being scared to go through the carpool line or changing class. I hear all these things. And so then I'm able to pray with them. But here's the fun part for me. I also get to share with them maybe things I'm struggling with or concerns I might have. And I ask my kids to pray for me. See, that's modeling prayer. And I don't think there's anything more powerful than a child's prayer. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. I'm going to encourage you to maybe just spend some time praying with your kids. Maybe at night when your kids are in the bed, maybe go in and gently lay your hands on your kids' heads. And then imagine that any trauma, any disappointments, any hurts that may have taken place during that day, just imagine that the Father takes them away. And then just imagine that peace runs into their head and runs through their body and runs through the soul, so they can wake up peaceful children. See, I think there's something to that. I think there's something powerful to praying for our kids. So just let me encourage you. It may feel awkward. It may feel weird sometimes praying with family, but begin to practice it. And the more you do it, the less awkward it'll be. So I encourage you, hey, pray with your family. Spend time praying for the family. I think that old cliche is true, the cliche that says the family that prays together stays together. I think there's something to that. God bless.